Hi and welcome to American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo presented by Copper Spring Ranch. I'm Will Rasmussen. We continue our stay in historic, scenic Cody, Wyoming, known to some as the rodeo capital of the world. The evening performance is the highlight for spectators in Cody, as well as competitors. However, it is an all-day job for the stock contractors and the event staff, feeding, sorting, and penning livestock in preparation for the night's event. As with most rodeos, slack, or the overflow of competition, occurs during the day. At Cody, the timed events such as the tie-down roping, team roping, and steer wrestling are a two-go-round, or what we call a two-head competition. The top 10 times on their first run compete during the evening rodeo on their second. The remaining cowboys drawn up that day will run their second run during the slack. We caught up with one of our featured cowboys during his slack performance.
This year's been pretty good. Fortunate to ride a older gentleman's horse that lives there by me in Oklahoma. His name's Ronnie Alston. He's got a heck of a horse. Rode him quite a bit at the winter rodeos. Got along good. Won quite a bit for the winter, and this spring just been to some circuit rodeos off and on, and then I loaded up June 14th, headed out for the summer run from North Platte, Nebraska to Pleasant Grove, Utah to Reno, and about the last 10 days we've been in Canada working our way back down here to Montana and here for Cody for the 4th of July rodeos. We didn't get up just the way we wanted at all the 4th of July rodeos, and today we're done. Our 4th's over. We head to the house in the morning. Last year, the tie-down roping, they increased their rodeo count to 100, and I entered and competed at 93 rodeos last year. It was a little too much. It kind of wore me down. This fall, I was ready to just kind of relax for a little while, take my mind off rodeo for a week or so. You go to 93 of them, it'll make you want to pull your hair out some days. Health's been pretty good. I DR'd, took a 30-day DR in the steer wrestling over a freak deal. I was loading a horse in a trailer at Red Bluff. Wasn't even my horse, and he tried to turn around, then he ran backwards off the trailer, and I got out of the way, no big deal, or thought I was, and I tripped over a bale of hay at the end of the back of the trailer as I was stepping out. He wadded me up like a pretzel, strained my MCL, and I didn't get to bulldog at some California rodeos or some of my circuit rodeos, but it's good now. No problem. It sure had me worried at first when it happened. This is a sorrel horse we call Rooster. Me and Clint Robinson own him together. He's had quite a few runs the last couple of days. I'm gonna see how he is this morning. I might ride him, but we also got a gray horse with us that I might end up riding. I'm gonna see how this horse feels this morning. See if he's not too bad sore, I'll ride him. But if he is, I'll get on the gray.
Don't go away. American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo will be back to check in with Ryan Jarrett and the timed events from Cody. Now back with more American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo presented by Copper Spring Ranch.
I just trotted Rooster around a little bit. I think I'm gonna go with the gray horse today. He don't feel just right just yet. This setup, I believe the gray might be even better for the setup, but that's my decision. I don't know if it's the right one, but hopefully it'll work out here at Cody, that's for sure. I'm looking for my knee brace.
Tie-down roping is a two-head or two-go-round event. Everyone ropes their first animal during the slack. Let's see how Ryan does on his first run. As you heard one of his buddies say, he broke out. That's a 10-second penalty.
First time there in the calf roping, horse model went a little too early, and we didn't really bring our main sticks down, so I mounted out the first time, and I ended up coming over here. Jerome Schneeberger ain't even here, and I called him. He's sitting on a plane, and I asked him if I could ride his horse, and he said, "Oh yeah." He said he's over there in the stall. Go get him. And so I went and saddled his up. I'm gonna try him in the second round, see how it goes.
On his second run, Ryan will be competing for go-round money. Ryan Jarrett didn't have any luck here at Cody, but let's look at some of the Cowboys that did. Cody Owens was 8.7 on his first run, 8.4 here on his second. Places fourth with 17-1 on 2.
There's no doubt Shane Hanchy has already roped and tied one down, and exactly the
Shane Hanchy won round 1 with 7.7, 9.2 on his second, and places third on 2 with a total time of 16.9. Corey Solomon was 8.8 on his first, 8 flat on his second, and places second with 16.8 on 2 runs. Coming out of round 1, sitting fourth with an 8.4 is world champion Trevor Brazil. He wins round 2 with 7.7 and the average title with 16.1 on 2. Here are the winners of the tie-down roping at the Cody Stampede. Let's move on to the steer wrestling event, which was also a 2-head competition. Our feature cowboy, Ryan Jarrett, continued to have trouble here in Cody.
My first steer there today, first go around, I knew I'd got way too good of a start. The steer was supposed to really run and try right through there, and I didn't want to be late. The average is pretty tight here already, and might as well win something to go around while you're competing. I got way too good of a start, and everybody's yelling you broke it, and I just kicked on by to the other end. Long season, don't want to risk getting injured.
Luke Branquino, 2-time world champion, was out of the money in round 1, but tied for third on his second steer with a run of 3.9. Blake Knowles from Oregon, fourth in round 1 with a 4.1, finished sixth in the average with 9.2 on 2. 6'5", 250-pound Jake Reinhardt from South Dakota won round 1 with a 3.8 and finishes fourth in the average with a 9 flat on 2. Alex Robertson from Oregon, third in round 1 with a 3.9, third in the average with 8.8 on 2. Former champion of the world Mickey G won the first round with a 3.8 and won the average with 8.4 on 2. Don't go away. More American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo coming up right after this. Now back to American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo. The Sankey family of Sankey Pro Rodeo pride themselves on the success of their livestock. Being out of top producing and performing horses, such as Dominoes, these horses are bred to buck. They're athletes. They love what they do 8 seconds at a time. At Cody, one of Sankey's young bucking horses that is bred to do just that is a horse named Monopoly out of Dominoes.
You know what? I love Monopoly so much. I used to play it.
Monopoly, a young star from the award-winning Born to Buck breeding program of the Sankey family, drawn by Oregon's Brian Bain, scores 75 points.
Well, the Oregon talent gets right there.
Here are the results of the bareback riding competition at the Cody Stampede. Placing fifth, Texas man Jared Smith on this horse named Lewis with 84 points.
Jared Smith tonight, and the horse is called Lewis.
Checking in with our man J.R. Vizane of Cowley, Wyoming, a former national high school rodeo champion.
When people ask me what I want to do when I got older, I'd say I want to be just like my Uncle Duncan. He rode bulls good and barebacks and saddle broncs too. He rode all three rough stock, and I wanted to do the exact same thing. I rode sheep when I was little, and then he put me on my first steer when I was 7. And I rode steers till I was 13. They wouldn't let me get on steers anymore, but I didn't have equipment to ride bulls. And my mom and the dad I grew up with had got a divorce by then when I was 13, and I grew my hair out long and wore baggy pants and tried to be a skateboarder for a while, but that didn't last long. My mom started dating Doug Griffiths, and he's an old-time bareback rider. He said, why don't you try riding bareback horses? I said, okay. His boys were in high school rodeo, and they had an old 1960s noodle-handled rigging, and we went out the morning of Cowley's days, and we had our horses out at his place, and we ran an old saddle horse in. He put it on and showed me how to mark them out and how to spur them, and I jumped out, and I was third at our little hometown rodeo, and been trying to get better at it ever since. So right then, that was my 8th grade summer, so I started high school rodeo, and Duncan loaned me his gear, and then I got gear to ride bulls, and I started riding all three. My sophomore year, I started riding broncs, so I grew up, or I guess I high school rodeoed. I ended up winning 2 year-end bareback riding saddles. I won the all-around 1 year, and I won the bull riding 1 year, and then my junior year, I won the high school finals in the bareback riding. My senior year, I qualified for high school finals in all 3 events. And then this year's my rookie year. I rodeoed on my permit last year, made our circuit finals, and got my qualifications up so I could rodeo hard this year, and heading for the NFR now. So first ride started really good, had a good little horse, and she just stumbled on the front end and fell down, and I got a re-ride for it and got Quattro coming up, so should be good. Rode it a little late here. We just rode in Red Lodge at 3, and 65 or 70 miles over here. We hauled butt to get over here. Showed up just in time, so hopefully we finish strong and finish good.
Been here before. We'll tell you more in a moment. It's Wyoming's turn today. J.R. Vizane, let's ride one.
J.R. Vizane drew Quattro, scoring 78 points.
That little horse is called Quattro, and the man
Another featured Sankey superstar is the horse parlor game, another horse out of Dominoes, and chosen to buck at the National Finals Rodeo, paired up with young Tanner Ouse of Minnesota. And in parlor game style, they combined for 80 points.
Well, I knew she was pretty bucky right out of there, and kind of had some swoops to her and stuff, so I just kind of tried to stay pretty close to her and gathered up, and worked out pretty good.
Here's a man and already a 2-time NFR qualifier. He's got the good one tonight. It's called Silk and Dynamite.
Here is Tilden Hooper on a horse named Silk and Dynamite, marking 85 points.
Well, the man you're watching has won almost 70. Let's take a look next to Stephen Peoples. We're going to ride another one for you. Let's do it now. Come on, Redmond, Oregon.
Stephen Peebles from Oregon on a horse named Who's Who, another marking of 85 points.
The horse is a horse called Who's Who from the Sankey Rodeo Company. Oh my, Iron Creek Energy Group is where we're going to send him from.
Ryan Gray of Cheney, Washington, and the award-winning Broadway, one of the highest money-winning bucking horses in professional rodeo, takes Gray to 85 points, a 3-way tie for second, third, and fourth.
They call that horse. We've got ourselves an international put his name on a big check tonight.
Dave Worsfold, a 5-time Australian Finals qualifier, rides the unbelievable horse named Gus and is the champion of the Cody Stampede with 86 points.
National Finals bucking horse and an international talent in Dave Worsfold. How about 86 points? You're simply the best.
Here are the final results of the bareback riding in Cody, Wyoming. We will be back with more American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo right after this. Now back with more American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo, presented by Copper Spring Ranch. Sankey Pro Rodeo breeds some of the top bucking horses in the business. Sudoku is another multi-time qualifier to the National Finals Rodeo and another horse out of Domino's. Drew up in Cody, Wyoming with Todd Wrangle. And Todd just didn't get this powerful horse started. Not the first man to come off of that great bucking horse that way.
We call Turtle Dove. Watch him ride now. It is Wyoming.
Chet Johnson finished 5th with a 79-point ride on Eagle Eye.
Not standing real square. They say now he is. Let's try.
Former champion of the world, Jeff Willard, South Dakota man, places 4th with an 80-point ride on Theodore.
Energy group. Watch this.
Young Jake Wright from Milford, Utah, rides Max and ties for 2nd with 81 points.
The trail for you, Wind River Casino. What do you say? Let's do it.
Cody Tayton of Mud Butte, South Dakota, with 81 points on Owl Hoop Trail with that 2nd place tie.
South Carolina. Yes, sir. Where the sun sometimes shines.
Cody England from New South Wales, Australia. The horse is Firewater, and the score is 85 points. Look at that horse jump and kick. Here are the final standings of the saddle bronc riding from the Cody Stampede. One of our featured competitors on American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo is a barrel racer by the name of Sue Smith, a National Finals Rodeo qualifier from 2009.
I don't know about that. I actually think it probably is. It defines me. My horse is, my whole life just kind of evolves around him. I train futurity colts and I love it. It's a passion of mine, just the training end of the deal. I do clinics. And I'm really passionate about that, and I just am lucky that I can do what I love and make a living at it, and I'm pretty absorbed with it. I mean, other than I love to go out and eat. I like to eat a lot, good food, and if we can get to a movie every now and then, but it pretty much absorbs my whole life, and I like it. I like it that way. Yeah, I graduated from high school and I went to college. I actually am an artist, and back to your question about other things that I do in my life. I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of art, but I can, and eventually I'll probably get back to that a little more. I do leather work, and I do a lot more leather work when I'm not winning, out of necessity. Anyway, luckily for me, I haven't had to do a whole lot of it lately, but I like it. It's kind of an art deal with me. I am kind of fortunate in that I am an artist, and so when I get an idea, I can go draw the pattern up and then, be kind of creative, and I like doing that. And I do spend extra time doing that. The sad part is mostly it's for myself lately. Claimer actually could use a bigger closet, and that's a pretty big one in the back of the trailer. I went to the NFR in 2009. And it was just kind of a fluke that I ended up there. I'm just grateful to my horse. I was trying to make the circuit finals and season my horse that year. He was a young horse out of the futurity ranks, and he just started clicking. And I was, we have some big circuit rodeos that pay good, and I just won at the right ones, and next thing I know, I was in contention. So I entered a few more rodeos. I did good at the tour finales and ended up in Vegas. It was a highlight. It was definitely worth going to, and dang sure gets in your blood. I'd like to go back.
To wrap up the excitement of the Cody Stampede, here are some highlights from the team roping event. Former world champion David Moats and young gun Ryan Tittle, 6th in the average. They're 11-7 on 2. From Arizona, it's Derek Begay and Cesar De La Cruz had a 5.4 second run in the second round. They end up 5th place in the average with 11-6 on 2. The team of Archie Rogers and York Gill tied for 6th in the first round with a 5.6. 4th in the average is their final with 11.3 on 2. Brandon Beers, Jim Ross Cooper tied for 4th in the first round with a 5.5. Finished tied for 2nd in the average with 11 flat on 2. Tying for 2nd in the average, Caleb Driggers and Brad Culpepper from Georgia. 5.6 in the first round, 5.4 in the second, 11 flat on 2 runs. Placing 3rd in round 1 with a 5.3, two-time world champion Matt Sherwood and the great Corey Petska gather up their second steer in a 5.6, giving them a 10.9 on 2 and becoming the champions of the Cody Stampede. Here are the results of the team roping. Footage for American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo is being shot at rodeos approved by the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association with offices in Colorado Springs, Colorado. If you would like to contact the PRCA or learn more about professional rodeo, go to ProRodeo.com. We want you to learn more about American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo. Go to our website, www.realityprorodeo.com. What a great time we have had at Cody, Wyoming. And as the excitement of the Cody Stampede comes to a close and the contestants hit the road to home or probably another rodeo, so does the livestock of Sankey Rodeo Company. We hope you'll join us next week as we bring you more behind the scenes and in-depth conversations with our featured cowboys and share some great rodeo action from beautiful Sheridan, Wyoming. I'm Will Rasmussen. We'll see you next time on American Cowboy Coffee Reality Pro Rodeo, presented by Copper Spring Ranch.